Gentlemen,
afternoon,
sir.
Life is great to have you guys here. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Why am I skeptical, Dan?
No, I'm happy because I was thinking of the song by Cream. I'm glad, I'm glad, I'm glad. So I don't know. I just went with it. You know what I'm saying? And I must commend you, gentlemen, on your tightness of being on the show. When I said 6:30, man, boom, you guys are on 6:30. You would make such great musicians.
and executive assistants.
And executive assistants. But and no, really, I'm really glad to have both you guys here. I don't know what the logistic of it was to get both of you here, but I'm very, very happy. And let's talk about everything else but San Diego Historicon. Are you guys okay with that? And the silence is so loud. So you know what, Bobby? Bobby Nunes, is that right?
Yeah.
I know you a little bit, but from what I know you personally, let me congratulate you on how to teach. You're an amazing man. You saw, because I have a problem with attention deficit disorganization, whatever. And you saw it right away and you said, let me take care of this. And I cued in and I understood everything. Everything you said, I ingested it. I am who I am now because of that episode.
Are we talking about Discord training or?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I spoke to you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
You know what? I remember that too.
Yeah, no, that was very good. That was excellent. And Harold, what have you done for me lately?
0.
See what I'm saying, man?
You have not ingested any of my output recently.
Look. In my defense, I'm here. Your output is there. You can't come down. See, Bobby came down. He came down and he spoke to me.
Yeah.
I came up. I'm starting even lower than you are.
Okay. Bobby, I want to talk to you. First of all, it's very difficult to get pictures of you on the internet because there are none. Very good for you.
Probably because you look Bobby Factor too. It's a little difficult.
Scheiße. Yeah, you're right. And Harold,
yes.
Well, I'm jumping all over the place. So, Bobby, when did you meet Harold?
Was last Tuesday?
Yes.
Afternoon, last Tuesday.
Yeah.
I met Harold online, right? Like a lot of us, right? We've interacted with each other online and social media. And then
I just want to be clear. This was not a dating site.
I flipped left.
Okay.
So, no, I met him in person at a local con called PacificCon. We have a war game contingent there, about 200 people. Met him there, played a few games, talked about it, and he said something, because I was always looking for a gaming group because finding war gamers is rare, and he said, it may be cliche, but he said, if you build it, they will come, right? It rang through like a few years ago. He was a builder, so he sort of inspires all of us, including me, and it was a pleasure to be on his team.
He inspires me. I mean, look,
I'm an inspiring guy.
You know what I mean? See, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nice T-shirt.
Thanks, man. I got the new one, but it's in the wash. Thanks, Harold.
Yeah, why do you have a red one? I want a red one.
Harold, once he met me, sent me a care package, man.
You were wearing a Michigan T-shirt, and that was we just weren't going to allow that.
No, hold on a second. There's the Michigan T-shirt is still in play, okay, Harold?
You don't even know where Michigan is, Dan.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, all I know is that it pisses you off.
It's one of those things that's so offensive that you just, you have no idea what it stands for. You just know it's offensive.
It's an Insta-ban. It's an Insta-ban on the team. If you even talk about Michigan or call it the 50th state, you're out.
See, I don't even know what you guys are talking about, man.
There's 49 states in the United
States. I understand.
Only 49.
Okay, so you guys met at a PacificCon. How many years ago was this?
4.
That's it?
Like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I thought you guys knew each other much longer.
No, we've interacted a great deal. I think quantity of the interaction's been a lot, right? Through Twitter, and then once we got to know each other, and then, of course, rolling up. There's Trevor Just, who was also at that Pacificon.
That guy,
He's
Trevor,
there with us.
he's a troller.
Yep.
He trolls.
No.
He trolls. He's a great gamer, and he's good fun to game with. We had a great time at Pacificon playing with him and his two sons. He has two young sons. And Trevor, you're going to have to remind me their names. I just know that it's awesome. So type them into the chat if you can.
You see, this is the first time that Trevor says, "Hey, what's up?" and he doesn't take a shot at me like, "What's going on here? What is this riffraff?" You know, stuff like that.
That would be accurate. That would be accurate.
See?
Yeah.
Leonidas and Augustus are the names of his two sons.
No way.
And they're great gamers, right?
Yeah.
I had a prototype of South China Sea out at the time, and the two boys played it against each other, and they would point out, "Yeah, this doesn't work very well, and this is kind of clumsy, and this is very elegant." And I think they were 6 at the time.
That's
right.
I mean, I love those names. Really, Trevor, that's so Canadian of you to name them after a Greek and a Roman.
Well, it sounds a little more Greek and Roman than Canadian, but perhaps it's Canadian.
The first Canadian Roman emperor. I mean, everybody knows that.
Well, Leonidas, and I named my son Julian after Julius.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about Trevor. How do I eat trolls?
Dan, what part of Canada do you live in?
I live in the province of the fine province. The beginning province of North American civilization called Quebec.
Oh yeah,
you heard of that?
Heard of it once or twice.
What about Harold? You know Quebec?
How far to Quebec? How far from Quebec do you live? The city.
3 hours.
And is that by cart or by car?
Yeah. No,
this guy.
It's my interview, not yours.
Just asking questions.
So Harold,
because you live in it. I've seen you've shown us videos of you live in a rural area where you can go out and look for mushrooms and things like that, right?
Absolutely, it's just fantastic. You guys are in California, is that right?
Yes.
No mushroom. You guys are not into mushrooms. There's no wildlife.
People here enjoy mushrooms quite a bit. I think it's a different.
It's very shroomy area.
Okay, my interview.
Well, let me tell you something about California, Dan, because there are urban areas, right? Los Angeles, San Francisco, you've heard of those, the whole Bay Area, but there's also massive rural areas. It's a wonderful place.
I agree. I'd love to go to California. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll take a trip down. My girlfriend and I, we were thinking of adding a pop-up tent on your roof and just take off, but then we lie down for 5 minutes and the idea went away. So that's it.
On the roof of what?
Of the car.
So a pop-up tent on the roof of a car.
And he's laughing. Is he making fun of me, Bobby?
It's just it's a questionable idea about having a pop-up tent on the top of one's car. We don't see that often here.
Like a Toyota Corolla with a pop-up tent doesn't feel very stable.
I don't get out enough probably, but I haven't seen that.
Okay, my interview, mine. Okay, so Harold, let me ask you something. I know you. How long have you been doing San Diego Historicon without it being online? How long have you done it? Like,
yeah, no, we've done it. I don't know, 7 years, something like that.
Really, eh?
But by the way, it's not Historic Con; it's HistCon.
Okay,
so you're gonna screw up our brand just like Coca-Cola if you keep this up, Dan.
No problem, man.
And we started as a face-to-face con in November, roughly 7 years ago.
And how was it the first year, Harold?
Oh, it was great. We had so much fun. We didn't have enough space. There's always kind of a chicken and an egg problem when you start a convention about how much space do you need to reserve. And the hotels expect either payment, or they expect you to buy a bunch of food, or they expect you to rent a bunch of rooms. So there's this dynamic that you don't want to get more space than you need, but you hate to leave people out.
I understand.
So, every year we've had to cap it and turn people away, and it just gets bigger and bigger. So it's been really good. And then we had a pandemic. I don't know. Did you have that in Canada?
No, I don't think so.
So down here we had a pandemic where
I know we blocked you. You're not allowed to come to my house.
There we go. For a lot of reasons, I'm sure. So the pandemic came around, and that's where Bobby and I really got to know each other. Was we decided that we wanted to do some things online, and so we did. I guess most importantly, the November convention.
Well, hold on. You just fast forwarded like 7 years.
Yes, because we had 5 or 6 years of face-to-face convention. Now the convention, grew up to over 300 people face-to-face. We had, we've got a bunch of notables that come every year. So if you came the last year we had it, you would have met Cole Worley, Mark Simonich, Mark Herman, Volko Runka.
So that's the first year, right?
Well, that was the last time we had it before the pandemic.
Because I was going to ask you, how was the support the first year from people, from well-known people or companies? How the first year? How was that?
Yeah, GMT has always been a big supporter, but other game companies did as well. Some will never support us, and they'll go nameless. But GMT has always been fantastic. Academy's always been there. Revolution Games has always been there for us. C3I and Roger McGowan have always been huge supporters. So we got a lot of support. I'm sure I'm missing things. Blue Panther Games has always been associated with the con. So, and when I say support, it's not just sending us a few games for giving.
No, I understand.
They come and they sell and they promote. Decision Games has always had, during our face-to-face conventions, has always had a big storefront. So you can buy any of the games you want without having to pay, of course, shipping. So yeah, we had a lot of support. It wasn't until we got kind of a critical mass that we started inviting big name designers.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of calculus. They're friends of mine like Volko and Mark Herman that can just come, and then there are others that need a little help as it relates to room nights and other things. So that's where that's where a lot of the money goes associated with the registrations.
Now, is it getting too big? Is it getting too big?
Well, it's been a while, right? It's been 1.5 years since we had it face to face. I don't think it was too big at that point. I thought it was great, and we do feedback, Dan. We believe in circulating feedback to the participants, and we got just great feedback. So I don't think we had any feedback that it was too big, and we capped it at 300 and some odd people. So
now, is that going to happen? What happens if you get 500 people wanting to come?
Yeah, well, we'll cap it at what we think is a practical, positive experience, given the environment that we're in, and whatever. There's Charles. Charles has been to the con. Yeah. But yeah, so we haven't, Dan. But it's a constant calculus and a constant concern. The most important thing is that it's a great experience for those that come. Right. I'm not trying to get rich off of this. I'm not trying to make any money. Right now, we fold. We've been folding the money back into the con or into charitable situations where we have a large excess. So. That's not the goal. The goal is to make sure everybody has a great experience. And the good thing for me is I get to meet a ton of people. And I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Meet a ton of people. I have a massive network now, people that like to play games. And so if I want to play Combat Commander, I can call in 6 different people and they're up for a game next week.
I know, that's great. Now, when you're at your con and you're doing your ambassador of the con type thing, what's Bobby doing?
At the physical con, I haven't been to any of the San Diego Historical Convention physical ones.
Wow. Okay, I'm surprised.
Right. Yeah. So started and just time wise, right? I didn't make it. I would do some traveling then, and I would miss that con, and then attend the con or GMT, in Hanford at the warehouse. But I never went to one of the physical cons. So my entry into the San Diego group, right, was solely online.
So you're the, oh my God, I forget the other guy I met. Edgar, yeah. I wanted Edgar on, but what am I saying? So basically, you, Edgar, the team, because there is a team. there.
Yes.
You guys
Yes.
are on the online team, or are you also the physical con team?
Everything.
Or everything, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the team grows, right? I mean, you know, the when you start a con in an area, it's usually you, maybe one or two other people.
Yeah.
So for me in the early days, it was me and my good friend Pat Wells, and you know, Pat's he does everything, and he's a super guy, and we all love him, and so Pat and I, you know, grew it and built it and created our networks, and things started to grow. Well, now it's a very different world. We have a whole bunch of people on the team, right? So Bobby brings all of his energy and expertise to it. You've met Edgar, who's a technology expert and a great guy, and you know, there's probably 6 others that have joined. So now this is all much bigger than me. This is a team
I
of
understand.
people that work together to make decisions and come up with ideas. And man, it's so good, right? You know, the collaborative mechanic of us talking about what we could do leads to much better outcomes than one person just trying to figure out what.
I mean, the reason why I ask is because I think I know the amount of work it takes to put something like that together. I don't know. It might not look like a lot when we do it. When I say we, when you guys do it online, but you guys offer pre-con to teach you how to use stuff. That's work. To put it together, that's work. Who's the guy who does the website, man? Man, that's a lot of work. That and I commend you guys, and please never ask me to help, because I won't do it. That's just
you help all the time, right? You've given us lots of trailers, lots of coverage. You've been an MC, right? You're always helping. And I know you know how much work it takes. It's like watching any of your videos, right? Content production is not just whatever, always going live. You got to, even the trailer for this video, you have to put it together. It probably took you longer than this interview will take to do it.
You see, Harold, that's how you fish for compliments. You see?
He's a pro.
How subtle that was? That was so
He's a pro.
subtle. Yeah.
I'm the guy with all the butter. So, I do all the comms, right? All the communications. So the graphics you see, right? That's my piece of the puzzle.
That's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work up front, right? But the real work that, a lot of the people that go unappreciated on our team generally in the public view are all the people that work the con and schedule together and communicate with all the designers and others. There's an enormous amount besides what you see visually.
No, for sure.
Right? So the really behind the scenes, a lot of the work, the real bulk of work occurs like right at the con or right a few days before. There's a lot to put together, but there's just a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and so it's an enormous undertaking.
What happens internationally when it's 7:00 p.m. in Europe and you guys are in your REM stage? You know what I mean?
It's like anything, right? If somebody lives in, we had a person from New Zealand, right, who happened to be assisting a designer of the game put it together, and it's like anything in the wargaming hobby, right? It's hard sometimes to find people. So there are some people that if they've got to wake up at 3 a.m. to get some wargame content that's live, they will do so. That being said, though, don't get me wrong, we have a discussion all the time about maybe doing something just in European time, right? Or just in Asian time. We're always aware of that, but this is it's still very new to us. I mean, the first one was a great experiment, right? And
I thought so. I thought it was
there are others, right?
very professional.
Right. Yeah, there are other online cons, right? So we're all growing together, right? We all these online conventions and venues have gotten better and better. That is true.
That is true.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
So we're all growing. It's still
there have been a number of big benefits to going online with the conventions, aside from reducing our risk of capturing a virus, and that is that first of all, people from all over the world, regardless of your situation at home, right? Some people have never been to a con because of the stress of being around people, right? Mm-hmm. Others haven't been to a con because it's not close, right? The gentleman in New Zealand, Bobby talks about, was his first con was the SD Con. So all these things are really cool. One of the other great things about the online convention is Mark Herman can teach Empire of the Sun to 50 people at the same time. And all 50 of those people have a front row seat as to what Mark Herman's doing.
Yeah.
Right? You could never do that with Mark here in San Diego.
So that leads me to my other question. The physical con and the online con, once the physical con starts happening, are you going to lay back from the online con, or it's a machine on its own?
We think there's a future in online conventions.
I think so.
And, you know, you said you asked your other question. I hope you're not out of questions, because we have a convention coming up in August, and that and which is already sold out, unfortunately. But that convention is the Coin Fest.
Hold on a second. I'm ready for you, man.
Okay. Well, you're almost ready, so I'll wait. I'll pause. I'll talk about something else. Maybe I'll talk about politics.
Yeah, you kill me.
There we go. So that's, you know, more of Bobby's good work, right?
Yep.
But the idea is, you know, we asked when we did the survey for the last convention, you know, what would be a fun one-day game playing convention? Because, you know, our conventions historically have been built around people doing demos, watching them, learning how to play their game, that kind of thing. But let's create a con built around coming and playing a game. Mm-hmm. And Coin, of course, is intensely popular and you know, excellent games about the American Revolution, that sort of thing. And so people are decided that that's what they wanted. We're putting on a Coin Fest on August 7th, a full day event. Kicked off by the Coin Father himself, Volko, and then Gene Billingsley from GMT Games, which publishes the Coin series. And then we've got 2 big time slots where people can sit and play the games. And then in between those time slots are 3 hours where you can do whatever you want. There are other prototypes you can go look at and mess with. There's a chat area. You can hang out, do whatever you want to do during those 3 hours, and then come back and play another game.
Well, so, Bobby, I want to ask, sorry to interrupt, Harold. I want to ask you a question, Bobby. Why only 50 badges available? I mean, this is in the ether. We can have 500,000 people if we want. So why cap it?
Well, technically, you're right? But I mean, remember, we talk about a team, right? So we have infrastructure that we have to deal with, right? And we pride ourselves on being very personal at the con. So everyone on the team likes to greet people, communicate with others, you know, be public and be accessible. But without the necessary infrastructure, we're limited in that number. In this case, though, why not 300 like our last? Mm-hmm. We chose 50. For one thing, it's a one-day con. 2, as Harold was saying, right, this is a player's con. So it will be less, to use the term, voyeuristic, right? Mm-hmm. It will be less people watching and everyone playing. So that created it's sort of a different type of online convention, right? Like, a lot of people tend to watch things and maybe there are a few people playing, but this is an opportunity, again, to sit down at a table, potentially with a designer or a coin expert, right, an expert teacher, and play your first game. You know, we have coin games that are considered, you know, beginner coin games, mm-hmm. like Libre or Falling Sky. They're a bit more accessible in terms of rule structure, rules load. So that's why we decided on 50. It's not some random number. In retrospect, possibly we could have gone bigger, but again, this is all still such an experiment in many ways, right?
Are we allowed to audit it without playing it, or do we have to be, or is it 50 and that's it?
No, it's 50. It's a player's con. You're supposed to be there, and you know, it's an experiment as well, right? We're trying to figure out how to make these player cons work. We don't want to make it too big, you know, and it's never been about making it huge, right? I mean, it's what is it, Bobby? $5 to register, which is de minimis, right? So it's really about setting up a forum where people can have fun. Keep in mind that we had an event in May, and at that event we had 370 people, and we capped that, so we could have had more. So you know, for those types of events, we're really expanding and opening up.
And does it, having more people, does it complicate things technically, or is it the same thing?
It does everything. It makes it harder technically, right? More bandwidth, more capacity necessary, specific problems about how many people can be in a room on Discord, all of that stuff, right? And we're using Discord because it's free. and which we all like, right? And that allows us to keep the convention cost cheap.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not perfect, and so we have to deal with that. The bandwidth, the number of people in a room, number of people, overall on the system. How many people can interface with Mark Herman and still have a good time? We have to make calls on all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And that really provides the limits. Now, here's an interesting thought for you, Dan. So Coin was the #1 requested game con, right? So Coin was what we started with. What do you think was #2? And I'll give you $1,000 if you guess in the next 10 seconds.
You better be good on that word, my friend.
10 seconds.
I know where you live.
6 seconds. I'm waiting for Bobby to stop. Don't type it in, Bobby. 2, 1.
Hex encounter.
No.
Hey.
6-player games.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Here I Stand, Virgin Queen, right? Westphalia.
Oh, so not like monster games, just
Those kind of games, right? Those grail games that a lot of wargamers have, like Here I Stand, right?
Yeah.
That play perfectly at 5, right? Or Westphalia by HOLLANDSPIELE. That
right.
Like it's not playable at 3. Those are very hard, to get to the table for any historical board gamer. So a lot of people, they crave that. That would be great.
I see.
We considered it.
And someday in the future, you may see a 5 or 6 player con.
Indeed.
That's interesting. And the word insurrection comes to mind for some reason.
Gen Con?
Hold on a second. I'm having a hard time here.
Should we call the authorities?
Yes,
Send
please. Now, this here. Insurrection. Now, Harold. Why? Because I know it's you. You're a bit of a... with all due respect, Harold, I love you, my friend. It's incredible. But you're a bit of a shit disturber when it comes to... You're an insurrection guy. You did it at Gen Con. You had the insurrection. You're going in. And now you're doing it at Dice Tower. You're going in. What's the matter with you, man?
Well, this is really exciting, right? So we have the Coin Fest coming up August 7th. And then in November, the SD HistCon will be online again. So we're not going to meet face-to-face in November for the SD HistCon. That will be another online con. All right, you with me so far, Dan?
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, I'm going to keep rolling, so hang with me. So now we roll forward to March of 2022. And in 2022, we are working with the Dice Tower West to join them to have a parallel convention on their site. So if you go to Dice Tower West, you've already bought a ticket for the San Diego Historical Games Convention at Dice Tower West in Las Vegas, also sponsored by, you ready for this, Dan?
Yeah, I'm listening.
GMT Games.
You know something? We all know that Tom Vassell is not a war game player, right? So how did you get that gig, Harold? Or should I call you Godfather?
I would.
There are a lot of, Bobby does. There are a lot of people involved in those decisions. And, I met Tom a couple of years ago at the con, and he was very sweet.
He's a super guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I think we overestimate his disdain for the war game stuff. And I think if we do a good job here, I think it will completely change his view. He started off as a minis fantasy gamer. So he's a war gamer in his blood. He just acts like he's not.
Well,
primarily by wearing those funny hats.
Yeah, whatever. But I know Tom very well, and I actually work with his channel, eh? You know that?
Of course.
Okay, how come you never called me?
How come he never called you, or I never called you?
You never called me to get in touch with Tom.
Oh.
I sent letters. I don't call people for that kind of thing.
No, I'm a more face-to-face guy.
Courier. Yeah, Courier.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And so this will be happening for sure.
Yes.
This is 4 days of historical military gaming also. Is that right?
I believe that to be the case. Another thing, Dan, so we've already got confirmation by a handful of superstars that will be there, right?
That's awesome.
So GMT and GMT crew, the War Game Boot Camp, some of Carl and Tim, two of my favorite guys, have been a part of Dice Tower West for a long time. So they're going to be there for sure, right? And they've been a part of the San Diego HistCon and including all of our online conventions to date. So those guys will be there. They're awesome. Love them and love what they do, right? And you know, this provides us all with a unique opportunity to get some people that aren't war gamers exposed to what we do in a good way, right? So they're wonderful ambassadors in that regard. And my good friend Volko Runka has agreed to be there, so he will be in Vegas in March. And we haven't even started asking people yet. So
seriously, eh?
it's going to be a great convention, and it's going to be a bunch of great names.
Now, I forgot what the population is at that con, but I think we're talking like 1,000, maybe even more.
It was capped at 1,000 the last time they ran it, which was a year and a half ago, I guess, right at the beginning of this pandemic we speak of. And then, you know, I think it will be much bigger this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I mean,
are you coming, Dan?
I don't think so, man.
What?
I look. I'm in Canada. The logistics of all that. Are you kidding me, man? The last time I crossed the border, the guy asked me if I had any guns in the car.
It's rude. It's rude.
Did you?
That's not the.
None of your business.
Right.
Bobby, none of your business as to whether.
You make a good point.
You know, man, and it's like.
But the question you're most likely to get is, why do you have a tent on top of your car? Right.
That's the giveaway.
Yeah. Well,
what are you storing in the tent?
We'll not talk about that. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I'm gonna say war games, but I'm really happy you guys. Okay, Harold Buchanan. I'm gonna say Harold Buchanan, but I encompass you guys. Okay, Harold Buchanan is just it's a logo, right? Because
it's odd.
You know what I mean? And Gen Con, when you did it at Gen Con, I was so stoked. I was so happy. Like I wanted to be there. Is this gonna happen again?
At other places?
No, at Gen Con.
Well, it's not going to happen this summer at Gen Con. Timing's not opportune. It's in September. A lot of people have kids in school. So, you know, I think there'll be some events there, but the insurgency isn't going to happen. And then we'll just have to decide what we want to do next summer.
And what about like
Gen Con has, you know, the challenge for us is Gen Con has a model. And Gen Con wants you to come in and do their thing in their blocks for their rates, right? And I don't think it's necessarily bad, but it's very much Gen Con's model. The great thing about Dice Tower West is they allowed us to come in and do whatever we wanted.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's just, cool. They're just the best people to work with.
I know. Tom had invited me once. We did a 24-hour marathon, and I had a great time. Time.
Did you do something during that 24-hour marathon?
It's my interview. I asked the questions, Harold. I know it's difficult.
But sometimes those questions, you know, that are tough lead to that sort of response. So I'm afraid you did something during this.
It's pretty scary.
Can we get back on track, please? Thank you.
Let's do it.
Now, any possibility of something like this coming up north?
Like Canada? PanCaldiCon? I like that. Me too. It sounds good.
I know, but what's Harold going to do?
What do you think, Bobby?
I think whatever. We combine a War Game Con, 2 or 3 hours out of Quebec. Dan cooks. And
my pleasure.
The War Games. It's perfect.
My pleasure. And I already have the menu in my head. We start off with a nice morel risotto. Very nice. You know, I know Harold doesn't understand those words because aren't you a McDonald's Harvey type of guy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Pretty much, right.
Chipotle. I like Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, okay. So, you know what? So this next con, the CoinFest 2021, this is happening exactly when?
August 7th.
August 7th. This is a one-day con, you said. Did you want to say something, Bobby?
No, go ahead. It's a one-day con. It's
because you're used to interrupting my interviews.
I like you off. I do.
By the way, Bobby, you have a wonderful voice. I really love.
Thank you.
No, when you sing, I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
You have a wonderful tone, and it reaches without being discordant in my ear. Huh?
It's euphonous as opposed to cacophonous.
I don't know that word, but
me neither.
I was going to ask Harold if he knew what Discord was. It doesn't matter. It's my interview.
It's all right. So Bobby, though, is the most successful Zoom bomber of your show in the history of mankind. I've seen it, what, 4 times? And
it's funny, though, Bobby. You just come in, you say what I have to say, and you get the hell out. You don't wait for me to say something.
No. I'm pretty with you.
I called you some wicked names after you left.
Loved it, and I appreciated it.
Okay, no problem. So, I mean, Brian Train is from Vancouver, right? And there's mushrooms over there, Bobby. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yes.
So you guys have never thought of like moving because you're not that far. I mean, you're not that far in relatively to Vancouver.
Right.
So no, you don't want to do
1,000 miles. Yeah, I think that's it.
1,000 miles.
The real question is, how can we get 300 people into Brian Train's house? That's going to be the delimiter.
But if the American cons, and I hate to say this, if the American cons don't move a little bit into Canada to do that, our cons are always a little bit smallish. You know, we have a great con in Montreal. It's SPAC Academy, run by excellent people with, per capita, I should say, that con, we have more designers and developers, Harold, and I challenge this. Harold.
No, that's not true, but it's not a competition, Dan. And that Stack Academy there in Canada, that's one of I would love someday to come up and participate in that and just play some games, because that's the beauty of these small cons. It doesn't have to be big.
You're right.
That convention has great, high quality people. Everybody has fun. The feedback is awesome. It's, I think that is exactly what you want, and you don't want to change that.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I see your minding, Harold. You wanna, if you want some control, you gotta keep it small, type thing, right? Peter Gabriel, third album, do a DIY.
It's
right?
It's about quality.
Yeah.
The number of people. I hate to turn people away, but the most important thing is that we ensure a great experience for everybody that comes.
Right.
So you're not thinking of expanding at all. You're actually thinking of containing it.
Well, we want to make sure that it's not bigger than we can manage. And that's really important. It's not about dollars, right? I mean, nobody's going to get rich off this stuff. And if you reinvest and you give to charity like we do, it's not a mechanism where any of us make any money, and we put in tons of time we don't get paid for. So we want our friends and associates to have a great time. Now, if we can grow it a little bit, right? 370 at the last con in May. Who knows what the November con will be? If we can grow it a little bit, that would be great. If we kept it around 300 or 350, I would be just as happy, as long as the experience is excellent.
Yeah.
And when the con is happening, how available are you, Harold, to hang around, play a game, this and that? Because you're busy. I know you're busy. How available are you?
Well, that's a tough one to answer, right? Because during our May con, I did 6 almost 2-hour interviews with different personalities, right? That are now available on the Harold Buchanan Facebook page, or no, YouTube page. So that takes up a lot of time, takes up some prep. I do coffee every day, right? So the initial meeting, we all get together and have coffee and talk.
That's cool.
And that takes time and effort, but that's fun, right? Because
yes.
It's just everybody talking. And then, I do a thing with Mo in the evenings. And so, I don't have a whole lot of extra time. I certainly don't have time to play games. But, you know, Andrew Buchholz, my friend, runs a Liberty or Death game at every one of the conventions so far. And I stop in and talk to them about playing Liberty or Death. So, so there's, you know, it's hard to have time to play games, but, you know, I have to play a role to do my task, just like Bobby and Edgar and Scott and Pratik and Chris and everybody else. You know, Dan, go ahead, Bobby C. Go ahead.
Say, that is the thing, right? Like you were asking about, you know, the work that goes in, right? Like there's a lot of prep work, right? But like Harold's going to be broadcasting live. It's like you having 8 hours of interviews today.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You have to do 8 hours live, and often interviewing people you may not have interacted with before.
I know.
And these are formal and not loose, and you know, you'd have to have questions prepared.
It's work. It's work.
It is. It is. Yeah. It is. And it can be fun too. But Harold's underestimating. So he's there 16 to 17 hours in the day.
Now I was going to ask: is there an opening time for the con, the physical con, and a closing time for the physical con, or is it a 24 hours mayhem?
In Vegas, you mean?
No, the San Diego Hist Con.
You've been to have you been to conventions, generally speaking, aside from like Gen Con, which is
no, I've never been to Gen Con. I don't want to go to Gen Con. There's too many smelly, stinky people, and that's it. Okay, I take a shower.
What?
Yeah, and what? And no, but what? I mean, I'm the Stack Academy. Yeah, and you know what? You're right. You're putting it into perspective, Harold. That small is really nice. There's the intimacy is nice. But I've been to WBC, and I found that not the tournament room upstairs, because that's like walking into a funeral home. And I'm talking about that's not what I meant to say. I'm talking about the ambience, the heaviness of it. You can't talk, shut up, you know, whatever. But I heard Bruno Sinigalio swear in Italian, and that's how I found him. Anyways, what was I going to say?
I always find him.
Where was I going?
Dan, there's another.
Don't interrupt me, man. Don't interrupt me, man. It's my show.
I got stuff to say, man. If you don't ask any more questions, I got stuff to say.
Okay, please go ahead.
Can I talk?
Well, you have to, because you shut me up, sir.
All right. No, look, I was going to also point out that it's our goal to become the most diverse convention. And when I say that, Dan, I'm saying that, you know, there are a lot of people that really aren't well represented in our gaming communities. Okay. And there are a host of reasons, right, of which we're trying to deal with, right, including the Zenobia Award, which you've heard of, and other things that we're doing. But we've started measuring ourselves within the convention, right? So Chris joined us, and he started, a member of our team, started measuring how many events we run that are from underrepresented people from underrepresented communities. And it's been great, right? It's got us all thinking about how to increase the representation and the interaction and the safety and the comfort for everybody, period. And you know, I know there are plenty of people that don't like that when we talk in those terms. And it's okay with me if they don't come to my convention.
I understand.
Right. But our convention, pardon me.
That's very Canadian of you.
Yes. But at the same time, you know, we're working hard to create an environment that not only allows people from these underrepresented communities in, but also cultivates them, right? Gives them the comfort and the confidence and the support to be successful.
And there's got to be some repercussion doing stuff like that, Harold. Is there? That was a question.
No.
Really, eh?
No, it's all reward. It's the two foundation stones of the mission of STHISCon and the original convention are to grow the hobby, right? And that mission of increasing diversity fits right in with that, and everyone wants that. We want more people to play historical board games with, not less.
So how do you recruit and or advertise for something like that? Because we kind of sound, and I'm just using a word, glib when it comes to stuff like this. We sound like, you know, underrepresented people. How do you advertise for something like that, man?
Well, it's going to sound glib to some people, right? But the reality is that we all have our eyes open, right?
Yes.
And we're always networking and thinking about broadening the group, not just the people that look and act like me. I want to meet other people that are different and have different perspectives and different gaming perspectives. So we have a, I mean, intellectually, there's a universe of people out there that we can call on to help us and to participate, and that's good for everybody, man. That's
yes, it is.
And I don't, we don't have to wear it on our sleeve. I'll talk about it here because I think it's important. As Bobby said, that's one of the things we're trying to do is to broaden the hobby. But it's not like we wear it on our sleeve during the convention. But if you come to our convention, you'll see that it's that it is it's a more diverse group than you'll see at other historical games conventions.
Well, at WBC, there was like the upstairs. Oh, that's what I wanted to say before I was so rudely interrupted. Upstairs, we have the tournament room. Then we have like the wargaming place where more war gamers play, but there's some different Euro games still happening. And then there's the Euro game room, which is just massive. And there was a lot of diverse people. And I was pretty, actually, because I come from Canada and we're warm and fuzzy and more open, I was quite surprised that in America, the United States of America, that I saw such diverse people in one room. I was surprised, man. I was like, wow, this is cool. But is this an anomaly? Is this?
It's easy and it's possible, but we've got to make it happen in our gaming areas as well.
Well,
and think about it, right? So we have CoinFest, and Coin, right, is a hybrid of sorts, and it bridges this gap between traditional
yes.
war gamers, and there's an abstraction that it brings in this entire political layer to gaming. And we all know that GMT's line of coin games has also bridged gap between different types of board gamers. So again, CoinFest fits in with our primary mission, right? To grow, bring as much diversity as we can into the hobby, and a line of games helps us do that, and already is and doing work even before we have the con.
And right? the San Diego, the SDH. San Diego HistCon. That's your fault, Harold. That's your fault that you did that to me.
No, you're the one that said HisterCon. What were you saying?
It's never
HistoryCon or something.
Hystericon.
Hystericon.
I had a boss once. His name was John Derlick, right?
He sounds like a jerk.
Anyways. One of my friends said, "Oh, you mean Mr. Dicklick?" And I thought, "Don't say that to me, because that's what I'm going to call him. It's going to happen." Anyways,
did you ever call him that?
Well, I always paused and I said, "Hello, Mr.
D." Just call him Mr. D.
So the San Diego HistCon, the team behind San Diego HistCon and the team Zenobia, is it the same team?
There's a little bit of overlap, but it's not. It's a very, Zenobia has a board. It's available on the zenobiaaward.org website, and you can see who's on that board, and that kind of drives that. But there is some overlap. For example, Edgar is, works with us very closely on the Zenobia Award as well, doing a number of things, including technology. He's involved with the board. He's a judge. My good friend Bobby Nunes is also on the board, or not on the board. Sorry, is a judge. The Carl and Tim from the War Game Boot Camp are involved. They're judges. There's a lot of people involved in the Zenobia Award, but there's a little bit of overlap, but I wouldn't say it's the same. And
you see, that was my main purpose to have you guys on. Is I know. We're going to talk about historical and Zenobia, but I wanted to show the people how much work it takes. I mean, I know, like doing this interview, sure, we get used to stuff as time goes on and gets faster. But man, starting something again, like the Zenobia Awards, you're starting from scratch, man. You have a foundation of people that might be able to help, but the amount of work to do a con, I don't think I can wrap my head around it. And I give you guys kudos. it's something incredible. That was one of my
I don't think you can wrap your head around it either, Dan. But I do know that you know, the reality is that we put in a ton of work, and the group does. You know, Bobby is inspiring. You know, you shared some of his graphics. He's extraordinary, and the quality of his work and the quantity and the speed at which he conducts himself is just amazing. And that's one example of many that are on the team.
Zenobia.
Everyone on the team is pretty amazing, right? And talking about work, though, right? I mean, we've got people like Volko and Mark Herman and every other designer that puts in a minimum of 4 hours live.
I know. Teaching
20 to 50 people. I mean, everybody there is working.
How come Brian Train's not there? He's Canadian.
He's invited. He's going to be there for the next con for sure.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the Zenobia Awards, I don't want to take up too much of time. Is this a yearly thing, or is this an ongoing all the time?
So we agreed to try it for a year, and then we will recalibrate and see what happens when we're finished. But Dan, we're very close. We're judging prototypes right now for a decision on, you know, selecting a small number of finalists.
Look, so, I mean, if I can help in broadcasting what's going on, Harold, all you have to do is send me some videos, some stuff. You know, not be afraid and be very humble the way you are, and not ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll bring it out of you. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, Dan. That's great, and I love what you did with the Charles S. Roberts Awards.
It's a learning thing, man. Let me tell you, I'm not a video editor. I'm not into production, and you know, I want to do it. I want to do it properly. That is just to show it, because I have nothing to do with the decisions, whatever.
Right.
Is there anything else that that we should talk about that I have missed?
Bobby, I can't think of anything. I think, you know, the events that are coming up is August 7th is the Coin Fest, and then November you're going to see another SD HISCON online. And then, you know, we're really focused on making this March event a big success and face-to-face. So would love to see people that are ready to pull the trigger when registration opens up, and come out and play some war games with us in Vegas.
You know, let me say something here. You know what? We're all musicians here. Harold, I know you're a musician. Bobby, I know you're a musician. Where does music factor in the physical con? Or can it? Will it? Why don't you do it? Something? An entertainment show? A gong show? Something?
Wargamer karaoke?
No. Something a bit more pro than that, man.
Bobby's been pushing war game designer karaoke for a year.
I'll do it.
You're not a war game designer, but you could do it, right?
I'm not going to do it anymore.
I'm not going to do it anymore. Right. You know, think about it. Mark Herman, Volko, Morgaine, they get to pick a song off a list, and then the attendees decide who is good.
Oh, my God.
Do the whole war game karaoke con and pack it with 370 war gamers.
So isn't music a factor in a physical con?
No.
Why?
There's never any music in the background. It's not a.
No, but you can. That's why I asked it. Is it a 24-hour thing, the San Diego HistCon, or does it stop? Is there like at 12 o'clock everybody go to bed? You still haven't answered that, Harold.
Oh, so you haven't attended a con, right? A traditional convention, right? Like there are times and slots and events where you can sign up for a table, but the beauty of a convention is
the open gaming.
Hours. Yeah, like going after hours. Like at a local con, I might play till 2 a.m., right? It might be, of course, the games we play, right, take 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours sometimes, right? So that's part of the glory. If you want to leave at 8 o'clock or 6 p.m. or 10 p.m., that's your call.
Okay, so it's open gaming, okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that, that's a thing, but there are always people staying up to all hours in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a second part of our mission that we've alluded to, right? That main part is that, whenever you go to a convention and you play or you sit down with someone, you take back a memory. And it may not be such a big deal to somebody that you're talking to, or a significant other or a friend. But when you're in the hobby, you know, those moments resonate, and
Yes,
you know,
yes.
they keep you happy and they keep you content, and you grow friends, right? Like I've made friends at cons that I can play with. And you know, this is just that's the experience that we want to be able to recreate. That's why the Dice Tower West one is an opportunity for us, you know, with the physical convention experience from Harold's original team, and now online and communications, to bring all that talent to bear in a physical event, you know, a large venue, and just really knock it out of the park, deliver an experience to people, especially people who have never played some of these historical board games. A chance to walk in, enjoy good teaching from people like Carl Crater, Tim Porter, the War Game Boot Camp, whose mission is the same, right? They want to grow the hobby, you know, keep it thriving, explain things, right? So yeah, music was never a factor, right? And having music in the background is really funny. I never thought about it.
No, not music in the background.
Oh, just music, like,
you know, like have an entertainment show,
like an interlude, like a musical interlude, like an intermission with some music. Hey.
You know, no,
we could. I like this as an experiment, Dan. We could have a room at the con, right? So maybe the November con, Dan, you could run this. It could be.
I don't want a room. I'm married.
It could be Dan. Yeah. Well, you're going to stay in Canada, with all due respect, but we could have a room on that online con, and it could be, you know, Dan Pancaldi's disco, and people would come there and listen to music and chat, and it would be great.
Dance on camera. You know, just
dance. Yeah.
Another great one. Another great. We have a 3-hour window at CoinFest that we could put you in there
very easily, Dan. You
just sing some tunes, some show tunes, some you know, war movie tunes. You know, like imagine putting lyrics to A Bridge Too Far. That would be
that's a great idea. Please don't contact me.
It was your idea, Dan. You're the one who brought it up.
I'm just talking like this now.
I know you're just talking, but we're calling you on it. I think this is something we can do.
No, Harold, you're not just calling me on it. You're turning it into something I never thought about, and I have to agree because we're live, because I'm a nice guy and you're the Godfather. But when the show is over, I'm going to talk to you. Yeah. Did I just say that?
Want to do though? You know what else we want to do though? We want to do something for you. You know, right? I think that you would like to play a lot of the coin games, but you don't have time. And if you never played them, they can be a tough teach. I've seen you play Fire in the Lake a little bit with Mark, right? At WBC, right? but you know, we talk about you, right? We love that you're part of, you know, right? You're not a part of the team proper, but we consider you a team member, right? You gave us a voice. You've given us a voice lots, and you give a voice to the board game community, right? But we want to bring you into the gaming facet. I think you'd really enjoy it. I think you really would. You're chatty. You're interesting. You'd be great.
I'm a little bit intimidated with coin. I don't know why. I don't know why.
We'll play with just a bunch of beginners, man.
This is all beginners. Yes. I mean, where the segment that Bobby's talking about are all beginners, and it's perfect for you, Dan. You would love it.
And is there anything still available?
We'll get you. We'll make an exception. You know, Bobby knows some people.
I know a guy.
I really appreciate it. You know what? I'm going. Yeah, I would appreciate that very much.
All right. You sure?
Yes, of course. Because I got to do some gaming. Even Carl.
Yes.
I'm supposed to go to Carol Parazzi's house. You guys know Carol Parazzi?
Does the
I'm supposed to go to his house tomorrow, and we're gonna start gaming because both of us are not doing anything. And you know what? How do you guys? This is my last question. How do you guys have time to game?
Good question.
Yeah,
very good one, actually. Yeah, it has eaten up some time. Right?
Sometime. I mean, you have a life, don't you, Bobby?
Yeah, of course.
And then San Diego HistCon has its own life. So, I mean, you gotta juggle this, man. We're not all immortals like Harold, you know.
But that's just it, though. Between all this, right? Gaming is a sort of break for a board gamer, right? It's a moment to lower the stress, right? It may seem with some of the, you know, the larger rule sets, etc., that they'd be more stressful, but it's just the opposite, right? It's just some place to sink your brain and your emotions in and play. Finding that time now with some of the extra activities, Yeah, we lose a little bit of gaming, but what we gain is growing the hobby, which is just making more gamers down the line.
And I mean, the question is even more so relevant to Harold being a designer.
Yeah.
Harold, you teach, you got a life, you play guitar, you got to put some time in playing guitar because you don't play sweet like that without picking it up a lot of times. Please don't tell me that that's what you do. Pick it up and just play, because I hate people like that. I have to practice to get it. And where do you get the time, Harold, to play?
You know, wait, Bobby or Dan? It was Dan.
Dan,
right?
Dan,
Dan, you know, you have to make. Oh, I'm going to address this answer to Bobby.
Talk to me, man.
You know, you make compromises. I mean, you know, I realized that when I started designing that you make compromises, and so it's tough. So I wish there was a better answer, Dan, but there's not. Can I send you a JPEG or a picture or something?
To put up now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So keep asking questions. Ask Bobby some questions while I do this.
Bobby, you married?
No. Are you
willing to learn?
Because
no, you're from California. Do you?
This should be really romantic live. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Do you make a good money?
Bobby makes big time money.
Am I married to make good money? This sounds like you're.
Well, I want to know, man. I want to know what I'm getting myself into here.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Harold, how are you sending it to me?
I'm sending it an email, and it's coming right now. I hope if it gets over the border.
We stop stuff. We're not like you guys. We vet a lot of stuff. You know.
You need to.
Yeah. You guys should do a little bit more.
Because once the people up there figure out what's going on in the United States, they're all going to flee.
Ooh.
You know what? Oh, by the way, have you guys ever been to Quebec?
Just Vancouver and Saskatchewan, like Regina. Was at the university there for a bit. And that's not exactly a total Canadian trip, I understand.
Well, Quebec is really distinct, and I don't say that. Quebec is like California. Is like the California of the United States, except
a little bit more separatist.
It's like the New Orleans of the United States.
No, hold on a second. Attends minute, monsieur.
That's a compliment.
Well, no, because he doesn't know what he's saying. Because New Orleans is Acadian, not Canadian.
Where did the Acadians come from, Dan?
From France.
No, they came. From
don't get me. Don't you?
They came from Canada.
What's the matter with you, man?
Are you checking your email, Dan?
Yeah, I've got it here.
I feel like we're losing momentum here.
Yeah, well, momentum, eh?
Can I ask you, Dan? Are you married?
Yes, I am. Well, I mean, I guess I am. I'm with my girlfriend for 17 years. So,
what does your wife think about it?
Married. That's not married.
Yeah.
No, well,
I'm not in California.
Whatever.
Maybe.
Hold on a second. Let me share.
How many kids do you have, Dan? You have. I've met your daughter. She was charming.
I have a son.
Oh, is he older or younger than your daughter?
He's older. He's 25.
Oh, okay, cool. Does he
and
live
as a matter of fact, and because I live in Canada and because you guys are doing Zenobia, this and that, he's transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So his name is Isabel now. And it's been a couple of years. I mean, I support the hell out of him. I love the guy. But he hates games. So you'll never see her.
Right.
My son hated games for a while. After he left the house, he started to take it back up. But, you know, think about, I have to tell you, my getting to know Morgan Guillaume-Rotte at the SD-HISCon really opened my eyes and helped me understand that group. And it was wonderful for me. I am so appreciative of what she's done for me alone. So I'm sure that's true for you as well.
Oh, absolutely. She helped me so much. She actually helped Isabel so much too, man, you know? And
wow, that's awesome.
No, it is awesome. It's look, it's fantastic. And she's still a source of incredible help. Too bad she's French. Whatever.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, if you lived in Canada, you would know what that means.
Wow.
So there's Flashpoint South China Sea, the box cover. Right there's the box art. What do you think of that, Dan?
I think it's unfinished.
What would you like to do?
I don't know. It just
Tell me what you'd like to change, and I'll pass that on to the artist.
I have no idea. But is this a Roger B. McGowan?
No.
Okay,
It's Terry Leeds' work.
No, I'm not denigrating Terry Lead. I'm just saying I was looking for a Roger McGowan look, and then it's like, oh, it's not. But is this the final cover?
Likely, yeah. I think we're just about finished. It's going to be. This is kind of a modern take on box art, right? So it's a little different than like My Liberty or Death, which was Roger McGowan, which was kind of the old school.
No, but it's funny because this demands more of a picture thing, a more up-to-date thing. But the Insurrection one was perfect. By the way, I never got that game. Thank you. Is there anything else that we can talk about, or do we cut it here? We, like Neil Young says, it's better to burn out, man, than to fade away.
We can cut it, but let me make a comment about the South China Sea. So, I mean, it's true. It's a little bit different from the RBM style, but to be fair, right, RBM has set the tone, right, for almost every war game box in the world, whether it came out 30 years ago or today.
Yep.
And all of these, no matter if they look a little bit different, are riffs off of an original concept.
I understand.
So, I look at this cover and I see a little bit of RBM in there too.
No, I didn't mean to be a disrespectful.
Oh, no. I wasn't insinuating, but I'm just saying it's like, this is how some people in our hobby, like you're mentioning Morgaine, reaching out to you in a familial way, right?
Yeah.
Like there are some outstanding people in this hobby that their work and their words and their thoughts, they are resonating on and on. And, this is just another one, right? I look at a cover and, it all lives. So we're a family, right?
Yes.
We on a family note. Like,
and again, I didn't question it because I was saying.
No, I'm not saying you were.
I know Harold is thinking about it.
No, he's not.
I could tell.
He loves all those covers. In fact, we love every war game cover on our shelves.
Yep, absolutely. And let me answer Kilroy's question in the group. And good to see so many people in your group that I know. But we're in art right now. So when we finish with art and getting the rule sets typeset, we made a decision to go to a separate rule book for solo play that is comprehensive. So if you pick up South China Sea and you only want to play it solitaire, you pick up the solitaire rule book, you read it, you play it. You don't have to touch anything else.
Who's the developer, Harold?
Pardon me?
Who's the developer of South China Seas?
Jason Carr.
Jason Carr. Okay, yeah, sweet guy, man. I thought he was an old fart, but he won't.
No,
sweet guy, not an old fart. That's correct. And let me call out one more guy that I saw in the chat, Mickey Jewif, who is a local San Diego guy. And he and I have played a number of games together and butt heads, and it's great fun to see him here and interfacing. That's Mickey right there, my main man. Love that guy. So retired postal worker is my recollection.
Now I'm gonna say something, and I don't know if KilRoyWasHere is gonna kill me for it, but he's my consigliere, right? You know what? He's like having Bobby all the time. Is
he a wartime consigliere, or is he just a standard consigliere?
He's becoming pretty standard to me, man. He's running my life. He's my agenda. But anyway,
I've always heard he's not a wartime consigliere. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the word on the street.
This is a guy, Harold. I say Harold because it's San Diego Harold Con. This is a guy you need on your team.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah, no, we would love it. Kilroy, give us contact us. We'd love to have some help.
He's a CSR winner. Robert Carroll,
experienced,
and he knows his games, man.
Depth,
love it.
Yeah, we love that stuff.
You like that, huh?
We would love. We could use the help on the cons. So get in touch with us.
Well, if I would suggest this to, like, if this was the Mafia and I'd be suggesting this to my godfather, I wouldn't get the warm reception like I've just gotten right now. But anyways,
what's the Mafia? What did you say?
No, I didn't say anything.
The Mafia,
guys, I am so appreciative that you guys took your time to listen to my little stupid questions. It's really fantastic that you actually give me the time. I love it. You put some legitimacy in my little show, which I appreciate so much. And I say that with all my heart.
Dan, we appreciate you and all of your support for the SD HisCon and everything else that we do, and love you and keep up the good work. We're always watching and support if we're not on the screen.
Well, thank you. And I wasn't fishing for compliments there, but
okay, I take all that back.
Okay.
We love you, man. You do great work in the hobby, and you know it, and we all know.
I really appreciate the time you guys give. I'm gonna do the famous outro, and then we'll just stay with me for a minute so you guys can pay me. Okay. Okay.
See everybody soon.
Peace.